What's going on, guys? It's back, and today we've got something shaping up on Plug Power's price chart that looks like something we might have seen before and ultimately catapulted to very high prices. But, the recession looming is a little bit of a different standard, but it could end up the same way. Right now, we are seeing Plug Power at $18, over $18. Had a green day today, red and after hours, but whole market super green, lots of good stuff going on. What we're seeing right here, obviously, this kind of bounce back here to this top where we fought for a few days and ultimately ended up falling back down on the really bad inflation news, the worse than expected rate hike, and all of that stuff. But we ultimately fell back down close to this line kind of for a few days and then rallying back up. So what we're kind of seeing is this 1367 level is becoming a pretty strong support, and we have seen this before in Plug, where if we go back just a little bit, we can see right here we have a similar situation that played out where we fell into this kind of channel here, ultimately tried breaking out, fell in. This is the first tap, rallied up almost to the top here, came back down for around a second tap, rallied again to the top, fought it for a few days, fell yet again for a triple bottom kind of formation here to just an explosion from, this was $23 to $46. So a pretty big move up in price, and obviously was like the middle of this right here. So if we saw something similar play out again, we probably see this run up. If we see it come back down again, if market conditions get worse or we get worse news or something happens for the macro events, then we see it kind of fight up here. We'll see it come back down, and the target would be probably $32 around this point here. So somewhere around $32 if we manage to get the same thing that played out back here. But it is looking pretty similar. I mean, we see, the support level kind of really staying for triple bottom here right now, pretty close to a double bottom, really supporting it here. And we know this giant move down was a massive macro events. Interest rates hikes were worse, inflation was worse, things just got way worse than expected. So everything fell. But now we're kind of looking forward maybe to a brighter kind of future here where not so much things are going terrible. Maybe inflation, if it comes in better than expected or doesn't get worse than the last reading, that's going to be a good sign. Rate hikes maybe slow down a bit after that, and at some point the Fed has to turn, and pricing into that stuff, maybe that's what we start to see. So if we do get something worse than expected inflation, then obviously we could probably fight the top here and then have the bad news and come right back down and kind of play out a similar thing to here. But if we don't get some worse news like that, we could break $19 here and just kind of try and get back into this channel and then do the same thing, trying to get into this channel and ultimately trying to just continue moving up. We could keep an eye on the overall market. So the S&P 500 here, a lot of people look at for just like the overall market sentiment. And right here, we're seeing another rally, but we've seen this before, obviously, with a rally brought back down, rally, brought back down, rally, brought back down, and another rally. So the question is, has the market bottomed, or are we just in a kind of bear market rally where we'll ultimately go lower? If we do get the going lower, that's when we'll probably get the move back down to 1367 for Plug. Hopefully that holds, though. So that's the big thing, looking at overall market. Is it going to come lower? If not, then we're in a good position to keep moving higher, and maybe we have bottomed. Maybe the worst is behind us. Who really knows? But in some news for Plug, old news, we know Plug's client list: Amazon, Walmart, Nike, Home Depot. They also have Stellantis, I don't know what that is, and also Mercedes. So they have some pretty big name companies and partnerships out there. That's going to help them kind of get through and at least legitimize them a little bit as hydrogen begins to grow. They have a Belgium plant that they're implementing, and it'll produce up to 12,500 tons per year of liquid and gas green hydrogen for the European market. So we know Plug has plants in the US. We know Plug has plants in Europe. It's just kind of world domination for Plug here. So if the hydrogen economy is to grow, which a lot of people expect it to, if it grows, that means Plug is going to be a market leader. They're going to be the company kind of ahead of everything and in charge, and kind of like how Tesla is with EVs. Tesla obviously can make EVs, profit off it, giant company from it. The other companies trying to do it, some of them not so successfully, but some of them getting up and running, but obviously much smaller than what Tesla is. I think that's what Plug will be to the rest of the hydrogen market. They also had major partnerships throughout last year. We know Plug had a Spanish energy firm partnership. They announced that they're partnering with Charlottesville, Virginia-based Apex Clean Energy, so to kind of get an agreement there, and they're going to develop the plan to an open and green hydrogen production facility. So they have this big plan, plans in Spain, plans with Apex, plans with also the French car maker. That's the most recent one. I think the Renault. So they have been expanding, kind of making partnerships, building bridges, building out their infrastructure. We know all of this has been happening. We're just waiting for their 2024, 2 years from now. They have to be profitable. They have to meet their own goals and be profitable, or at bare minimum drastically close to being profitable. They cannot be running at a loss in 2 years. That, to me, will point a big problem, and we'll have to reevaluate everything, how they're doing, why their plants aren't running profitably and aren't bringing in revenue and bringing in profit. So that's something big to keep an eye on. We also had the Walmart deal. So Plug announced an agreement with Walmart for an option to deliver up to 20 tons per day of liquid green hydrogen to power material handling lift trucks across Walmart distribution and fulfillment centers in the US. This is big because it is just an option. So obviously they didn't sign a deal, but this is going to be big for their plants that they're building, and producing hydrogen is going to have a place to go and deliver the hydrogen and make money off of it. So that's good to see that. And Walmart, I mean, the second or biggest retailer in the world, and especially in the US. So a lot of things to be positive about there. And it's also one of the first green hydrogen supply contracts for Plug that the company said. So pretty good moves forward for Plug, and just kind of showing the growth of the company. At least it's going in the right direction. We're not moving backwards here. And the big thing, comparing hydrogen to oil. As hydrogen becomes cheaper to make, experts say it will increasingly be seen as a low-cost alternative to petroleum-based fuel and batteries. So we know the price of oil, a little bit crazy, still over $100, massive run-ups, spikes, kind of everyone is hoping for oil to crash so that we can actually have cheaper gas prices, cheaper energy prices, a lot of things going to the price of oil. But right now, holding over $100, it's been like that for quite a while now, and it seems to be on an uptrend. Hopefully it's peaked. Hopefully this was the peak, which was 123. We got pretty close to that on June 9th. Hopefully for energy prices, we see this come down, but as hydrogen gets cheaper to make, as everything starts moving forward, hydrogen and production, maybe hydrogen can be used as an alternative to this oil, which would be able to kind of bring in competition to the market and bring energy prices down, which no one's going to complain about. And just some of the ratings to point out from Plug that it has from some of these guys right here. It has a B- in accumulation and distribution rating, so indicating a moderate amount of buying of its shares among institutional investors. It's a good sign. Usually institutional investors, obviously they have a lot of money, and if they're coming in, that means it's going to be positive moves for the stock. So if institutional investors start to get involved, that's going to be a good sign. There are institutional investors already involved in Plug, but the more they come in, the more money they bring in, the more positively it impacts the stock price. And a big concern for the market as a whole, and something that directly affects Plug and its ability to be profitable, is inflation and cost inflation, which Plug uses natural gas a lot to produce hydrogen. So the net price of natural gas has gone up a lot. This is a quote saying, "This is a drag on profitability, not just in the current results. Costs grew faster than revenues, but also in the future as the company builds out new capabilities. Plug Power's partnership model should mitigate the impact of inflation." That's exactly what we want to hear. At least Plug's partnership model. We know they made partnerships with ton of companies, tons of companies in Europe, tons of companies in the US. They're kind of just marching forward in their growth, and the way that they're doing it hopefully should be a good move against inflation, which has been moving insane recently. And we can just look at what the analysts are saying and thinking. Most analysts, the average $34.62 for the 12-month price target of Plug. The low end is basically where we're at now, is $18, and the high end $78 per share. Right now, 0 sells, 3 holds, 11 buys. So it's not ridiculously insane to believe whatever analysts are saying. Just, they can never be wrong. They can always be wrong. But, at least no one's saying to sell. No one's thinking super bad about the company. So at least that's kind of a positive from this. Many are thinking positively, or many are saying, at least give it a chance and hold it. So we will see if the analysts end up being correct with this stock. I think that over the long term, Plug and hydrogen will grow. Hydrogen economy will grow more and more, and as like an alternative energy source. And then Plug alongside that will grow and be the market leader like Tesla is to EVs. So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. As always, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys in my next video.